Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's live. Today is the 7th of July. Happy 4th of July to all my American traders out there. And yeah, I mean, this week was pretty impactful for us. I was expecting this quarter to start off a little bit more bearish, and it definitely did, right? So even the crypto market's being affected by the nice little pullback, right, in the quarter Q3 for us. So without further ado, let's jump on to Forex Factory. Let's check out some news coming up for this week. And let's plan out for an impactful week, right? So last week we did see a lot of movement for us, bearish position, like I said, which is awesome, right? So hopefully you guys caught some amazing entries into those trades. We had some crazy news last week as well, which I did not trade. So I kind of stayed out of the market for a bit last week due to work. And also because the news was very volatile. Even though we wanted to long, there was also a lot of pullback happening as well. But as you can see with the charts, Nas is just so powerful, right? So it's still gonna pump regardless. It's extremely powerful. We just hit another all-time high this past week, and it looks like every single week we're gonna hit an all-time high when it comes to Nas, even though it's pulling back. Now, without further ado, let's jump on Forex Factory. Let's check out the calendar. So for today, Sunday, we only have red folder news for the euro. It's all-day occurrence for us going into tomorrow, Monday. Monday, what do we see? We see clear skies, right? There's nothing going on Monday. Tomorrow is no red folder news, no orange folder news, just business as usual. And it should not be too much volume, right? Coming out from a holiday weekend over here in the States for the New York session. Not exactly sure how that's going to affect the London session, but we'll see tomorrow or a little bit later on tonight to see how that works out. Tuesday, checking out Tuesday now, we see news 30 minutes after the New York session open in the morning, right? For us, that's 10 a.m. USD. Wednesday, what do we see? The morning of New York open, right? AM session for New York open. That's going to be 30 minutes after the market opens. Thursday, we have red folder news during London session around the open for GBP. We have USD 4 times. 1 hour before the New York Open at 8:30 a.m. Friday, we have red folder news for USD again. That's going to be 1 hour before the New York Open at 8:30 a.m. as well. Now, let's jump on the charts. All right, so you're going to see MNQ over here for me. You're going to see NASDAQ. We're looking at it on the daily. I mean, if we look on the weekly as well, so here's the weekly time frame. It's pretty obvious we're still on an uptrend, right? Pretty sure you guys can see that. Higher highs, higher lows. Go down to the daily. Daily, same situation. Higher highs, higher lows. Slight pullbacks, right? To certain areas. But for the most part, we are still extremely bullish. Especially here. We just blasted through this. Made that an inverted fair value gap. Let's clean this up a little bit. Mind you guys, I don't jump on these charts on the weekend. I jump on it with you guys here live. So you guys can see me, like pretty much my thought process and everything that's going on. Let's go down to, I mean, for the daily, what do we see? We see this bullish fair value gap right over here. And it's overlapping with these two other fair value gaps. I would say like this is a good point of interest for us. So let's mark out this area over here. Set your alerts. And then we're also going to label this. Now let's do this a little bit more clean, right? So we're going to use the trend line pattern. We're going to put it right there on the 50% mark. Hold shift. We're going to bring it to the right. We're going to color that blue. And then we're going to label that as daily fair value gap, 50% mark. Coordinates for that are 20, 138.25. Keep an eye on that. Make sure you have alerts set on that. We also have another fair value gap over here. But if I draw my fibs, right, from the bottom over here to where all-time high is, 0.62 overlaps with the halfway point of this daily fair value gap. So that's what I'm going to be looking at right now. These two over here, this one should be like around the 50% mark, so it shouldn't be too high quality. And then this one's way too close in the premium zone for us to make a long anyways. Let's go down into the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, we're going to see there's an overlap over here as well with the daily fair value gap. Which adds another additional confluence to us. And then these two fair value gaps over here, these are at pretty much the 50% mark, right? So if we draw it from here, even here, let's be a little bit more aggressive. All the way up there, you're going to see like here, those two other fair value gaps over there. They're inside the premium zone, right? Premium and premium zone. We don't want to long inside premium and we don't want to short inside discount. So we're going to ignore those two there. We're only going to keep an eye on the one that we just set the alerts for. And like I said, that alert is at 138.25 with a confluence at the 4-hour time frame. What else do we see? We have an inverted fair value gap over here. This is disrespected. And I was using that same area here, right? The 50% mark pretty much overlaps with these two areas. You have price action over here respecting it as well. Pretty nice little area right there for support and resistance. So keep an eye on that area, 138.25. And then underneath that, we have another 4-hour daily fair value gap 50% mark. This one's at 19,650.25. Now let me just clean up the charts a little bit over here. Let's go into gold. So gold, we're going to check it out on the daily. We're still in this little range that I identified, right? It looks like we're seeking this area over here, which we still have active. We've closed through this bearish fair value gap over here. So we are seeking this area over here, which is 2425.20. Make sure that you still have your alert set on that, right? That's going to be a pullback into this area, and then we should see price action dump right after that. Set your alerts and be looking out for that short position right there. Let's see what else do we see. Not much, right? We see a fair value gap over here, daily fair value gap that's been disrespected. Now it's inverted. We're going to color this blue. And we're going to look for a nice little pullback into here, seek into here, and then dump, or vice versa. Pump up into here, dump into here, and then continuation up. We're going to see how price action plays out. Both of these are points of interest for us. Set an alert on this one. Price at this level is 23.52. Go down into the 4-hour time frame. This, we can remove this. This has closed above it, disrespected it. Let's clean this up a little bit. See on the 4-hour, this is a 4-hour fair value gap that's been disrespected, closed through. And now we can use that kind of like as a level of support for us. So keep an eye on these two different levels. I'm going to set my alert on this one as well. This one's 2375.9. And then the other weekly levels are still active for us. I'm gonna move them a little bit more to the right. Weekly time frame, set alert. I'm gonna set an alert name as well. Weekly fair value gap. This level is at 2290. And then we have a daily fair value gap level underneath that as well. That's at 2232.9. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking for right now when it comes to gold. We're looking at those levels on the daily. We're looking at this level over here on the 4-hour and daily overlap, right? And we're going to see some price action reject off that level there. We're going to be looking for bearish positions here. Let's move on to silver. Daily. Is that the all-time high? No. All-time high is all the way up here. All right, cool. What are we seeing right now? Let me kill those fibs. This daily fair value gap has been mitigated. And then here, what do we see here? This is a weekly fair value gap. Let's check this out. It technically didn't close below it. We gotta wait how to see how this closes out here. And then this could be another potential fair value gap here. Tap into it and then continuation to the upside. We're looking for bullish positions here. We can keep an eye on that. Let's go down to my daily. The only fair value gap that I see on the daily is going to be right over here. This over here, I'm not exactly sure why my indicator is making that a fair value gap, but the fair value gap should be right here. This one seems like the most highest quality, and it also overlaps with this fair value gap over here. It disrespected it, so now this little level here is going to be a nice little support level for us. Make sure to mark that out. That's 28.335. And then if we draw our fibs, beautiful area right there, right? Between the 0.705 and the 0.8 level for us. We'll see how price action plays out. What else do we see? Let's jump down to the 4-hour to see if we see a clearer indication of an entry. Look at this. Fair value gap here. Boom. Inverted. And then seek the sell side liquidity right over there. Fair value gap. Boom, boom. Disrespected. And let's check this out. This level here looks really, really nice. There's confluences right there. Yeah, this fair value gap here. Bearish. And a bullish one over here. Let's bring that up a little bit. That's the original fair value gap. Price action has wicked off it. So this should be very interesting to see how this plays out. Yeah, we got to watch how this plays out because you have this order block right over here and it's pushing the price action down. You see these wicks are getting shorter and shorter, right? And then the actual candle bodies themselves are closing right over here. So let's keep an eye on this. I would love to see this candle body close below this. And then I'll be looking for shorts after that. This is on the 4-hour time frame. Keep an eye on this on the lower time frames, like the 5, 15 minute, to see if you see a market structure shift develop. And then look for an entry, right? Yeah, check it out on the lower time frames. I would wait for like the London or New York session to see if there's a clear indication. Let's move on to the Euro. Euro USD. It's kind of respecting this trend line very well. Bearish for value gap over here. That's been tapped into and mitigated. We're going to remove that so we can clean up the charts. Here we have a 4-hour for value gap. Let me check that out real quick. Yeah, it's been disrespected. Now it's bullish. Overlaps with this fair value gap over here. The trend is a downtrend though. So I mean, I'm gonna set my alert right over here at that fair value gap. And then I'm gonna be looking for shorts if it closes underneath it. Okay, let's say the candle body breaks through this fair value gap, then I'm definitely gonna be looking for shorts. Probably entry here somewhere along this trend line here. And then short it down to probably the sell side liquidity here, followed by that sell side liquidity down there. Let's go on to GBP. All right, GBP, what do we see? Kind of a range, right? Tapped into this daily fair value gap over here. Bullish. And then continuation to the upside. That's crazy. My alert didn't go off because I placed it a little bit too low. I should have had it right there and it would have told me to pretty much get in there. All right, that's been tapped into and mitigated. Price action is a continuation to the upside. Seeking out the sell side liquidity right over here. 1.2907. So we need some kind of fuel to go all the way back up there, right? Tapped into that already. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that buy side liquidity. We're going to set an alert over here. We're going to be looking for an entry here at 1.2727. And then seeking for price action to go to this external liquidity, which is at 1.2908. Let's mark that for us. And that's what we're pretty much looking at, right? Price action pull back a little bit into here. Go into here. And then we'll do the candle body over here. That's a 2.49. Go into the 4-hour time frame. You're going to see another 4-hour fair value gap overlapping that daily, which looks really, really good. And you see price action rejecting off this level as well. So it looks like a pretty good area of confidence for us. And last but not least, JPY. Let's go to the daily for JPY. All right, looks like price action is finally doing a nice little pullback for us. We still have this area here marked out for us as well. We're looking at the daily. We're going to set an alert over here. This alert's at 0.00633955. Price action is going to do a slight little pullback into this area, and we're looking for a rejection off this area. Price action might reject out this little sell side liquidity wick over here, right? Which is very close to the 0.5 on the fibs. But as of now, we're still very bearish on the JPY. This is on a massive downtrend right now, and we're looking to get in right there at that 4-hour fair value gap. Not much else has been developing at the moment, but this is a nice little area here that's right above the discount zone, right? So it's in the, right? It's in the premium zone. So we're looking for a short because it's right above the 0.5. Then we go to the 4-hour. 4-hour is going to be pretty much showing us the same thing. It's a little bit more choppy. On the daily, it's more clean, right? It's a massive downtrend. We're looking for price action just to come back into here. There's not really much going on with JPY besides that. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Going into the DXY, you see like this M pattern on the DXY. Bearish fair value gaps formed right over here. If it rejects that, I'm going to be looking for longs on NAS. Right? This is the bearish fair value gap over here. Level for this is at 105.497. What do we see down here? Inverted fair value gap. That became a nice, beautiful level of support. This is on the daily. Right now, NAS is kind of doing its own thing. So even though, you know, the correlation of the US dollar to the NAS should be dollar goes up, NAS goes down, or dollar goes down, NAS goes up, it's not really respecting that very well. So, I mean, for the other pairs, like let's say if you're doing in gold or like Euro USD, something like that, right? It should respect it a little bit better. It's just NAS is just so powerful right now that it's not respecting any correlation whatsoever. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for my pairs for the futures. Hopefully you guys have an extremely well and profitable trading week coming up ahead. Make sure to treat your red folder news with a lot of respect. If you're a beginner, please try to stay out the red folder news. It's basically gambling at that point. And if you know what you're doing with the red folder news as a professional, or your strategy is based around news trading, just be very careful going into it. Don't risk more than you can lose. And always try to go in with a small position size, right? Like 1 to 3%, depending on your position size, your risk, and your confluences. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for me. I'll see you here, same time, same place next week, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York session time. Goodbye for now.